Welcome back. Look, if you are focused on optimizing enterprise systems, you already know the drill. Taking an order from capture all the way to fulfillment, it is never just a simple straight line. It's this massive, dynamic orchestration. So in this explainer, we are going to completely demystify that entire journey. We're going to break down the true anatomy of an order in Oracle Order Management, exploring exactly how different item types, intricate pricing rules, and fulfillment engines all work together in perfect harmony.
Okay, let's dive into this mental roadmap and build our understanding from the ground up. We'll start with capturing the order, move to decoding item types, explore complex services and subscriptions, navigate billing and pricing, and finally wrap up with mastering fulfillment orchestration.
Starting off with Section 1, Capturing the Order, the Foundation.
Right off the bat, you've got two primary doorways into your system: entered orders and imported orders. Entered orders are exactly what they sound like, right? A user is sitting there manually building the order, adding lines, and pricing it out right in the UI. Imported orders, on the other hand, flow in automatically from your upstream integrated apps or e-commerce platforms. But here is the critical takeaway. Regardless of whether it's manually punched in or seamlessly imported, both of those funnels lead directly into the exact same transform order step. The system absolutely treats them with the same rigorous processing once they are through the door.
Once that order actually lands, it's structured into two distinct layers. Think of the order header like the roof over the entire transaction. It holds the big picture stuff like the primary customer info, contract details, shipping address, and the order date. But underneath that roof, down in the order line details, that is where the real granularity lives. We're talking specific items, units of measure, and even line-level sales credits. Like if an order has servers and, pens, you can actually split the sales commission between two different reps based on exactly what they sold on their respective lines. And honestly, if you've ever had to mediate a sales commission dispute, you know exactly how crucial that level of detail is.
Let's move on and see how this builds in Section 2, Decoding Item Types, the building blocks.
The absolute most foundational building block you'll set up in the product information management area is the standard item. It's straightforward. It is not configurable. But hey, standard definitely doesn't mean boring or limited. A standard item could be a physical product shipped in a box, or it could be entirely digital and unshipped, like a downloadable software key or a training PDF. Plus, you can set the billing for these as either a one-time fee or a recurring charge. Now, stepping up the complexity, we get to configurable items. These are the items built on the fly to match exactly what your customer wants at the time of purchase. You'll typically see these set up as pick-to-order, or PTO, and assemble-to-order, ATO items. Just like standard items, they can handle one-time or recurring charges, but they demand a totally different user experience when you're actually capturing their order.
So how does that play out in the system? Well, when a user selects a configurable model, they hit Configure and Add, and that launches the configurator runtime. Think of it like a giant puzzle. Say a customer is ordering a car. That's our main model. But the car has an engine, which is a reference child model with its own specific choices, like cylinder count or a turbocharger. The user drills down into the UI, configuring all these nested pieces. And while they do, Order Management is actively calling the Oracle Fusion pricing engine to display real-time, accurate pricing for every single tweak. It's incredibly dynamic.
Let's transition to Section 3, Complex Services and Subscriptions.
When you want to sell a service that protects or enhances a physical product, what we call a covered item, you create a coverage item. Setting this up means you have to map it to a specific sales product type. That might be an extended warranty on a laptop, software maintenance for a server rack, preventative maintenance on heavy industrial machinery, or a really strict service level agreement.
But this brings up a massive question for your system architecture. How exactly do you handle a single sales order that combines a physical good that needs to be shipped with a digital subscription that needs to be activated? It's a huge orchestration challenge.
And this brilliantly illustrates the sheer power of integrating subscription management directly with order management. The system can handle these highly specific real-world scenarios flawlessly. For instance, say you sell a mobile phone and a data plan. The system is smart enough to orchestrate it so the subscription plan doesn't activate until after the physical phone is marked as delivered. Or maybe you're incentivizing a purchase by applying a 15% discount, but strictly for the first 3 months of a year-long support contract. Or, here's a good one, a customer buys 5 serialized servers on a single line, but only wants a warranty for one specific serial number. You can manage those assets so the coverage applies exactly and only where the customer chooses.
Next up is Section 4, Navigating Billing and Pricing, the Financial Engine. So the crucial point here is that charge periodicity and billing periodicity do not have a strict one-to-one relationship. You define the charges over in Fusion pricing, but you define the billing cycles in Financials Cloud. Practically speaking, this means you could absolutely set up a massive one-time charge for, say, an enterprise software license, but configure the actual billing to be recurring, spreading those payments out monthly to meet your customers' revenue requirements. It gives your business total flexibility. But listen, there is a very important caveat you need to warn your users about in the UI. If an order line has a recurring charge, order management only adds up the one-time charges in the total amount field. So if a line only has a recurring charge, the amount field literally displays as 0. Why? Because recurring charges apply to a specific future time period, and the system total is designed to only reflect what is currently immediately due. Knowing that little quirk is going to save your customer support team from a flood of confused phone calls for sure.
Finally, Section 5, Mastering Fulfillment Orchestration, the finish line.
Automation is your absolute best friend here. Take a product transformation rule, for example. Let's say a customer buys an AS4888 computer on line 1. You really don't want your sales reps trying to manually remember current promotions, because they will forget. Instead, a transformation rule triggers automatically behind the scenes, and boom, a free laptop bag is instantly added to line 2. It is just seamless, error-free upselling and bundling.
Now, for the physical movement of goods, the order captures critical shipping details, like the required shipping method and requested delivery dates. But it also captures vital tolerances. This could be forcing multiple lines to ship together so the customer just gets one box, or explicitly stating whether an item substitution is allowed if the warehouse is totally out of stock. Every single one of these variables completely reroutes the physical journey.
Let's track that orchestration timeline for a second. Sometimes a customer contract explicitly states you cannot bill them until the goods actually reach their loading dock. Order management handles this by injecting a proof of delivery pause right into the orchestration process. So after the warehouse confirms the shipment on day 1, the system literally just waits. It pauses the whole shebang until day 5 when the actual delivery date is recorded. Only then does it release the pause and move the order to invoicing on day 6. It's brilliant, built-in contract compliance.
For those of you dealing with massive volumes of imported orders, system performance is absolutely everything. You can actually optimize how the system handles tax determinants to speed things up. Rather than calculating tax continuously as an order is being built, admins can set it up so default tax values are applied only when the order is saved, submitted, or if a key attribute changes. Actually, if your external system already calculated the tax before the import, you can just turn off the defaulting entirely to make processing lightning fast.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the strict limitation it places on your system users. We all know copying existing orders saves a ton of time, but order management is hardcore about data integrity. If a line was magically created by one of those transformation rules we just mentioned, you cannot manually copy it. Even more importantly, you can only revise or cancel an order line if your changes do not affect the pricing or the subscription details. If you're messing with the money or the contract, the system demands a completely new transaction framework.
Well, we've covered a ton of ground today, right from the basic foundation of standard items all the way to the complex orchestration of paused deliveries and bundled subscriptions. So I want to leave you with this question to ponder. As business models rapidly shift away from simple one-off sales and move toward complex, recurring, bundled subscriptions, is your fulfillment architecture genuinely ready to orchestrate that future? Applying these principles will make sure it is. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep learning.